welcome back to the second day of GIEQs Upskilling in Upper GI Endoscopy course. Yesterday we had a great day, loads of stuff, lots of lesion recognition. Today, more about benign pathology. We've got some quite difficult cases lined up, maybe 6 patients, all with different upper GI pathologies to get stuck into. We've got a couple of videos that John Anderson has prepared to go through, and we will try and touch base on some of the things that we said we would talk about yesterday. So just a little recap then from us, because I think our first patient may well be getting ready shortly. We've got 5 minutes to talk to the guys in the room here about what happened yesterday and what they liked and what we're going to do today. And then we're going to go into a lecture about this benign pathology of the esophagus until we can start up in the room. So let's start with Jan. Welcome back today. How did you sleep, maybe? And what are you looking forward to about today? Or what do you want to know? So let's listen. Let's have one thing that you learned yesterday that you didn't know before. So that's going to get more difficult when it gets to David, because he's at the back and he's also got the most experience, but hopefully he'll still be able to find something. One thing you learned yesterday didn't know before, and your expectations of the benign pathology part of today and what you want to know.
I slept well, thank you. It was an excellent day. I think yesterday were a lot of things that I learned, especially the technique-wise, picking up small different things from other people. I think I liked a lot. And for today, especially atrophic gastritis is still very difficult, I feel. A good inspection of the stomach, as we saw also yesterday, it was a very difficult one. I hope to get more out of that today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Peter Jan. So, Sophia, what did you learn yesterday you didn't know before? One thing.
Yes, about the part of squamous cell cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, also about adenocarcinoma cancer in esophagus. So this part in Italy, yes, we did not do much this part.
Okay.
About today, yes, I share with PJ. Yes, atrophic gastritis. It's a difficult thing.
Okay. I think it's a difficult thing. Lots of different polyps, lots of different appearances. We did some of that yesterday, but okay, we work more on that today. Michele?
Good morning. From yesterday, I've learned how to maintain, to keep the position in the second duodenal portion. And from today, yes, I would like to have an overview of all different benign conditions that I can find during my endoscopy.
All right. Tomasz?
Thank you. Excellent day. Good night. What I have learned yesterday is that I think every kind of pathology that was yesterday on screen I have already encountered, except one, that bulky lesion that was in the antrum, and I predicted it might be a pancreatic rest, but it was also associated with this diverticular thing. So I think that was interesting for me, and also that the technique of how to rotate the scope, not with my body and wrist, but the crossed hands methods, which I'm eager to try next time.
Okay. Today, what do you want to get out of today?
I think I stick to the same what I have said yesterday. So every lesion that we see makes our experience more so.
Every lesion
is
counts.
Critical, yes, and crucial for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tomasz. Zander. So welcome. Zander was actually backstage yesterday, and I've already thanked him. I'm going to thank him again for the work they did yesterday. Zander, I mean, you didn't get much chance to observe yesterday, I think. What do you want to get out of today?
Well, the lesions you see in atrophic gastritis, when is it something bad, when is it something not so bad, assessing of it, or if it's endoscopically resectable or not. I really don't find it's difficult in the stomach, as compared to the colon is quite well known in literature. I think the esophagus is also better known, but in the stomach, it's still, if I can say it like this, like a black box in my head sometimes.
Okay. Well, there was some great stuff yesterday, and I mean, you saw some of the cases, but I think that we can do the benign side of that today. So I think that this will be useful for you. Okay, Alex.
Good morning. Today, what I really liked it was how to use efficiently NPI scan to recognize and characterize lesions in the upper GI tract, which is really, really important.
Yeah. So those three modes of the three main providers of endoscopic platforms, yeah, they're very useful. And what about today, Alex? You got something?
Always about atrophic gastritis, how we should recognize easily and further manage the patients, because it's something really important. Because I think some patients with atrophic gastritis might be missed sometimes in upper GI endoscopy, and they don't go under surveillance as they should.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, David, welcome back.
Thank you.
Another day in Belgium. Hasn't seen the sun for 2 days. Longest he hasn't seen it in a while.
No, wondering why I bought my sunglasses, actually.
Yeah, you should worry if you bought more layers rather than sunglasses.
Look, fantastic day yesterday. I think all the cases were great. All the learning were excellent. I actually have to admit, I never really knew the fact about that the majority of esophageal lesions are sort of between 1 to 6 o'clock. I think unconsciously I knew that that's where they were, but I didn't actually never really thought about the reason for that. And I think that's actually very useful information, because it's somewhere where you need to really be looking more carefully, even if it appears to be quite normal. I agree with what Tomasz said, that every lesion counts, and I think if we don't respect every lesion, then no lesion matters. I think today will be really important, because ultimately finding weird and wonderful things, is not that common, and it's knowing the basics and how to deal with normal pathology, and that's really very important for all of us.
Great, thanks very much, David. John and Roland, what are you hoping to get out of today?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, you're muted, Roland.
So first of all, I mentioned the regular, do we need to biopsy it if the vascular pattern is completely regular? In Scotland, David, a month ago, we agreed that patients should have their esophagus examined while they're on PPIs if they have reflux. There's not general consensus about this. That was the policy we agreed with them. I'd like to come out of this meeting with a consensus. And I think the other thing which I sort of struggle with is when there are millions of gastric polyps, how hard do you look for the odd one? Where's Wally? I don't know whether any of you have ever had Where's Wally, but there's a Where's Wally issue in there. We should have a picture of that. And in particular, do we ever need to remove or biopsy any of the cystic gland polyps?
John?
Switch off.
Yeah, hi David. It was a good day yesterday. Enjoyed it. I think it will be helpful today from a technical aspect to discuss when there's a difficult intubation or a failure to intubate, and how and why that might occur, and then also how you overcome that problem. And then similarly, slightly further down the GI tract, if we come to the esophagus and we've got a stricture, when is it safe to progress? Is it safe to dilate? If not, what do you do? How do you deal with that in your own clinical practice? I think those discussions would be quite useful from a technical aspect. More on theory, John Morris, I know, is the VP for British Society of Gastroenterology Endoscopy section, and his thing at the moment is being more appropriate with our use of resource. And by that, it means who should we be scoping, basically. And a lot of the things we discussed yesterday and we'll discuss today require time and capacity. And certain healthcare systems differ. So if you've got a system as the UK where people simply get referred in, you've got a tsunami of referrals coming in, it's very difficult to do a quality procedure if the emphasis really is getting as many patients done as possible. So it would be interesting to have a more generalized discussion about how you might limit who gets an endoscopy and how you're going to select those, how you're going to triage that, how's that going to work in reality. And equally, you could argue, is it appropriate? You know, if people are prepared to pay in other parts of the world, is it reasonable for them to have an endoscopy? It's considered a relatively low risk procedure, but it's not zero risk. And I think there is a responsibility on the individual doing the procedure to have the ultimate call of whether the procedure goes ahead or not. So you could term that appropriateness.
Okay. All right, we cover all that. Perfect. Okay, well, thanks everyone. I'm going to just close this.